In this video, we unveil the top 20 cities and areas with the fastest growing home prices in the Sacramento metro. The data was pulled from Zillow, and we will analyze each area to see how it stacks up for 2025. And stay till the end of the video as I drop the dark horse pick, my dark horse pick for 2025, and why I chose it to be the hottest place to buy in the Sacramento area. Let's get into the video right now. Okay, let's start off the video with Dorado Hills. As we can see, Dorado Hills jumped this year. It was a one-year price range. It's not that huge of a jump, but in a year like 2024, where it was really, really slow, it's nice to know that homes were appreciating there. What we did see is that the biggest thing about Dorado Hills right now, if you live in areas like North Serrano, Promontory, is home insurance. Fire insurance and all that stuff. California is just getting hit throughout the board. Florida as well too, but California also got hit pretty hard on that. So a lot of our providers are actually leaving California, which doesn't bode well for a lot of the people that want those hills on the hill with the views, all that kind of stuff too. So just kind of keep that in mind. But other than that, Dorado Hills tends to be one of those spots. If you're looking resort style lifestyle, if you're looking for everything underneath the sun, this is that spot. As you can tell, it's going to have one of the highest price points as far as home price. It's like just over $900,000. But guys, people love these homes. I mean, look at this right here. People are actually just loving it, moving into it. And here's where it's located. So you're not going to see this from this map specifically, but this is Dorado Hills. It's up on the 50. It has views of, some of them have views of Folsom Lakes. You got some of the best sunrises, sunsets. Now, things happening in Dorado Hills. You got a new Costco that's going to be coming in hopefully in 2025. Although Dorado Hills is fighting a tooth and nail. But Dorado Hills is one of those spots with all the growth happening in Folsom and Folsom Ranch. Dorado Hills is that nice spot. It's hilly, it's nice, golf course communities, big houses. Like I've seen houses there that are over 10,000 square feet. So that's kind of Dorado Hills. I'd say from downtown, you're looking at maybe a 30-minute drive, probably more than that if you live in some of the more remote areas of Dorado Hills. But so Dorado Hills definitely made the list. All right, the next one we got here is, drum roll please, is Arden-Arcade. Arden-Arcade is less of a city and more of an area in Sacramento proper. Nice spot, like I said. I mean, look at the, growth there, more in Dorado Hills. That area for me has always been a little undervalued. I think with a lot of the people that are moving to Folsom, Dorado Hills, Rockland, and Roseville. A lot of these areas in specifically like the core area, like East Sacramento, Land Park, all that. I think a lot of those areas aren't really getting a lot of focus. The Arden-Arcade also, the home price is way lower than like an area like Dorado Hills. So you got like just over $500,000 for a cute little 3 and 2. The thing that's nice about the Arden-Arcade area is also the fact that what you're going to notice is that's where it's going to be really close to where the X Games are. Now, the X Games are coming to Sacramento for the next 3 years. A lot of people are thinking that X Games might become a permanent thing. Now, with that, you're going to see these areas like Arden-Arcade spike and grow. The land's going to be very, very valuable. Houses are going to be changing. The whole area is going to kind of revamp for a big thing like that. So Arden-Arcade, I think it's going to continue to grow. And like I said, it's one of those areas in the Sacramento metro that I've seen that you can still get that like community vibe, cute little house. You're really, really super close to kind of like, Sacramento. Like I said, bacon and butter, great spot to eat. You got Cal Expo right over here as well too. And this is where we're going to see the X Games pop up. So this is going to change the area completely. But I'd say for growth, I think maybe because a lot of people like the Arden area, they like the tree-lined streets, but they don't want to pay that East Sacramento or Land Park price. Arden-Arcade has become one of those places that people have kind of focused in on as well too. So Arden-Arcade made the list. Now let's get to the next one. Boom. The next one we got here is La Riviera. La Riviera is one of those spots that I've always been talking about for people who are looking for investment properties, for people who are looking for like their cute little houses, ranch style homes, 3 and 2, 4 and 2s, cute backyard, cute neighborhoods. La Riviera is one of those spots that I absolutely love. A lot of people will buy rental properties there because it's super close to Sacramento State. So it's nice, and it's showed nice appreciation. 2.3. Very, very nice considering the year we had for 2024. And like I said, this is one of those areas where you can still get something under $500,000, which a lot of people love. It appeals to 1, the investor, and 2, the first-time home buyer. Everyone's always complaining about like Sacramento becoming unaffordable. Is it unaffordable? This is one of the areas that if someone's looking for under $500,000, they don't want Melloroos, they don't want HOAs. This is a spot I go to for them because I always say this could be your first home and then all of a sudden you can turn it into a rental. And then if you decide to move somewhere else, Community vibe is there. Really, really nice spot. Like I said, La Rive is so nice. As you can see right here, right near the river as well too. It's a really nice area. And like I said, like College Glen's another spot that I like as well too. But I think the most popular spots in that area are La Rive and Rosemont. Really good spots. Now, you're not going to get a lot of the frills and bells, and there's not a whole lot in Arden and in La Rive. You're not going to see any new home building over there, maybe one or two. But I think that area is completely undervalued, and it doesn't surprise me that I'm seeing it on the list. If you're looking for like something under 500, if you're looking for something that still gives you those walking trails, the water, close to everything, I mean, maybe you're good, maybe like 18 minutes from downtown. La Rive is a great spot. So I would definitely check that out. And I think for 2025, more people are going to focus in on that area specifically, because like I said, it's still one of the few areas in Sacramento that you can get something under $500,000. All right. Rescue. Oh my God. Rescue is another one that all of a sudden for like a couple of years after the fire, it was kind of like no one was going up there. Then you got Blue Mountain that was building up there and a couple other builders. That whole area is developing out like crazy. And all of a sudden it's growing with the median home price just under $800,000. People are loving the idea of Rescue because you can get a nice piece of land. You can get a nice large house, everything packaged up under $800,000. Now with the Rescue, the only thing about Rescue is it's a little bit more of a drive than anything Cameron Park. It's out there, right? So Rescue is nice. It's going to give you that kind of hilly vibe. It's going to give you like nice trees. It's going to give you a nice kind of area. The only thing about Rescue, the negatives are, one is home insurance again, and two is that if you're someone who has got to go down to downtown Sacramento, this is going to be a drive. I mean, 50 minutes, something like that, considering how traffic is going to increase. It's right on the 50, really, really nice. But if you're someone who like loves those Hallmark movies, if you love the idea of living somewhere like remote, but not too remote, somewhere kind of with the hills, the views, all that stuff too, Rescue is a nice spot. You can get some monster houses out there. I've seen what Blue Mountain's been doing out there. They've been building these big houses, acre lots. That's a nice spot. I would say it's probably like, it kind of has almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a Cameron Park meshed with Dorado Hills vibe up there too. So Rescue is a nice spot for all you people who want land and are always complaining about the new homes not giving you that density, the new homes being so close together. Rescue is a fantastic spot, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's looking for just a bigger house, bigger land, but you want to keep it under $1 million. So that's what I would say about Rescue. Okay, the next thing is Rio Linda. Rio Linda has been one of those spots that has just been like just growing. I mean, if you look at the price point here, look at that. And then you look at the growth here. Everything that I've been seeing specifically under $500,000 that you can get in the Sacramento area, those areas are just smoking hot. I don't think probably within the next couple of years you're going to see too much under 500. So now that you're seeing spots like your Antelopes, your like La Rivieras, your Rosemonts, and you know like Rio Lindas, I mean, it's just not going to be something you see too often. So I'm not very surprised to see the growth potential here. I think if you're someone who's looking for that first-time home, single-family home, you don't want new, Rio Linda is a good spot. Now, Rio Linda doesn't have a lot of new home building, if any, but it's one of those places that you're going to get kind of the ranch-style homes. And it's an area for the first-time home buyer or someone who's looking for affordable Sacramento. Rio Linda is still one of those spots you can get that. Rio Linda also has a great location, kind of central to everything, honestly. You look at that, it's kind of super close to Sacramento over here. You know, you're close to a lot of stuff too. So you're not paying like the Sacramento price. You're not paying anything. You're kind of also close to the airport as well too over here too. So it's a nice centralized location, and at the same time, it's seen one of the most like home prices have increased out of almost any area in the Sacramento area. So I do like Rio Linda. I think the infrastructure needs to be a little bit built around Rio Linda a little bit more, but I expect that to happen. I mean, the stuff that's happening in the Sacramento area with the A's, with the X Games, with the new Kaiser downtown, with all the new shopping malls and all the new houses, a lot of these areas are going to be kind of like completely like changed out. So Rio Linda, the growth doesn't surprise me. I probably going to see it anything underneath $500,000 in the Sacramento area. You're probably going to see it on this list. All right, next one we go to is Lincoln. Lincoln has gone nuts. And like, for me, sometimes I think of Lincoln, I say to myself, Lincoln used to be like so affordable and then it just blew up. Look at this median home price right here. This is just nuts, right? Now, it hasn't shown appreciation like the other spots like a Rio Linda or whatnot. But at the same time, it is over $500,000, over $600,000. So this is kind of one of those areas right now that's kind of confusing, right, for a lot of people. You got Catavadera, you got 12 Bridges, you got all these areas, you got golf course communities, you have active communities, you have everything underneath the sun here in Lincoln. Now, if you're someone who's basically, you love over 55 communities, you love playing golf, you love a little bit more of a dry climate, Lincoln's great for you. Now, the only thing about Lincoln, again, you get into that area where kind of you're worried about fire insurance. And it's a little bit further away than most as far as if you're thinking about commuting to Sacramento. I would say Lincoln to Sacramento, maybe about 50 minutes if you're lucky. But it's a nice spot to live. And I think Lincoln is building out. Like, what was it? I think maybe about 15 years ago, Lincoln was the fastest growing city in California because it has so much land. So I think you got every builder underneath the sun in Lincoln. I think if you're looking, and like I would say right now in Lincoln, the houses being sold in Lincoln, probably at least 50% of them were probably new homes at this point, because one is lack of inventory, and two is because you got builders like LGI, KB, Taylor, Lennar, everyone underneath the sun is building there. And so you have a lot of options for new homes as well too. Lincoln's climate, like I said, is going to be a little drier and a little bit more flat. You're going to have the casino as well out there too. So Lincoln just feels, the only thing I would say about Lincoln is it just feels a little further out there. I've driven people out there to Lincoln because they like the area, the price point. If you're someone who's got to commute to Sacramento, or if you're someone who's got to go to Bay Area, I would say Lincoln, probably not the best option. But like I said, guys, Lincoln is going to be just completely revamping everything they do there. I mean, new high school that was put out there that's just awesome. Lincoln is one of those spots that I'd say by 2030, Lincoln's not going to look like Lincoln does now. It's going to be a lot more commercial. I'd say also the Whitney Ranch Retail Center, even though that's in Rockland, is going to affect Lincoln as well too. So I think Lincoln, with the land and the growth and everything too, I've heard of some cool commercial stuff happening to Lincoln. Lincoln is definitely going to be a strong player in the Sacramento area. But like I said, if you're someone who maybe needs to commute to Sacramento, maybe doesn't want to feel too out there, Lincoln might not be for you at this moment. But it's definitely for a lot of people, and we've seen great appreciation over there, and home prices have just kept on going up. All right, to the next. Boom, Woodland, California. Okay, so Woodland is that spot. If you're someone who maybe works in Davis or loves Davis, Woodland is kind of like that spot that it's kind of affordable Davis, right? And a lot of people kill me for that because Davis schools are different and all that stuff too. But I'd say Woodland, we've moved a lot of people into Woodland. A lot of people, the Woodside was building there. Richmond American was building there. Woodland is a very cute little area. The only thing is it just does feel a little remote for most people. You're going to have kind of Davis kind of maybe, I think, 20 minutes away. Sacramento, somewhat maybe 15, 20 minutes away too. Woodland's nice. I think Woodland also, just because of the location, a lot of people don't know about Woodland. There's some nice golf course communities out there as well too. I would say for anyone who's looking or needs to maybe work in Davis, schools are not a big thing because a lot of people move to Davis just for the schools. I would say Woodland is a great spot to look at. I think it's honestly, like, it does not surprise me being on this list at all, because I do see people feeling priced out at Davis. They don't want to deal with the whole, Sacramento thing. Woodland plays in perfectly. Community vibe is nice there. You're going to get houses all the way from houses that are 1,200 square feet all the way to 4,000 square feet. So you got a whole bunch of stuff in Woodland. But like I said, if you look at it here, all the way down to 5. So you're kind of far out there. So you got a shot to Davis. Boom. You got it on the 5 here going to Sacramento. So the only thing about Woodland is it just feels a little further away than most. And for some people, they're not a big fan of that. But for other people who understand the value of something about living this close to Davis and having access to Sacramento and not having to deal with a causeway, Woodland is a good spot. So I'd say Woodland doesn't surprise me. I like the appreciation again, and I think it's going to be on the list again next year, So, okay. Now we go to Rancho. Now here's the thing about this too. Understand this. These are stats that I pulled from Zillow, the data that I got from Zillow, right? Now here's the biggest thing about this is that Zillow only calculates the new homes that are actually put on the MLS. It doesn't calculate all the homes that have been sold outside the MLS. A lot of the new home people, if you go to a new home and you pick a house and that's your house, it'll never hit the MLS. So this 2.2, my guess is probably closer to 3%, or if not higher, based on all the new homes that they're selling in that Anatolia area. So for me, like I said, bang for your buck. Look at that. Median home price, boom. growth potential. And I'd say a lot of the new homes that were sold just like this, never hit the MLS, aren't even factored into this list. Like I said, I think Rancho still remains one of those spots. And I do love, if you're a new home person, you got Pulte, you got Woodside, you got, who else? I think D.R. Horton's building a new one out there as well too. You have Beazer that's coming to town. You got Woodside. You got a bunch of builders building in that Rancho Anatolia area. It's about 10 minutes from Folsom Ranch as well too. They're going to be putting in new schools between Folsom Ranch and Rancho, 2 for sure, and 1 coming in after 2030. So that whole area is just going nuts. And like I said, if you look at it right here, here's Rancho. Now you're going to see older Rancho over here kind of butted up to La Riviera and Rosemont. Those are areas that for the most part just look just like La Riv and look just like Rosemont, because for the most part you're going to see 2 different parts of Rancho, or even 3 or 4. But a lot of the stuff that's kind of closer up to 50 in Rancho is going to be older ranch style homes. And then if you flip on the 50, exit Sunrise and keep going down towards the Costco and past the Costco, that's where you're going to run into all the new stuff. The new stuff is very attractive to people. I think it's the best bang for your buck, and I think they're offering some of the best incentives that I've seen in the Sacramento area. So if you're someone looking for a brand new home, you want a 3.5, 3.9, 5% interest rate, that's kind of where you go. So I really like the area, and I think in the future that area is just gonna be crazy with that new project they have going out there as well too. It's just a great area. In Rancho, like I said, I think based on the Zillow data and everything too, they didn't factor in a lot of the people who said, I want that home. I don't want to, that's my home. We're good. Those homes never hit the MLS. So I do think that Rancho, probably over 3% home prices. Okay, so next, let's see if we can get to the next one. All right. Next one is a 2.5, and this is Carmichael. Carmichael's an interesting one. It's kind of, there's all sorts of different areas of Carmichael. You can get something that's a little bit more in the 5s. You can also get houses that are $3 million up there in Carmichael as well too. Carmichael, and we'll show you the map, is near green space, near the water. There's some houses on the water in Carmichael that is absolutely beautiful. It is very Hallmark-ish. I would say Carmichael, Fair Oaks, Orangevale, no more. Carmichael and Fair Oaks would be similar to each other. Really nice. Older communities, more established, really nice. But one of the things people love about Carmichael is the price point here. And also, if you look here, it's, it's doing really nicely as well too. So for me, I like the Carmichael area. The only thing about Carmichael, and one thing that I've noticed about Carmichael specifically, is inventory was really low, specifically in areas like Carmichael and Fair Oaks in 2024. Hopefully this next year will bring us more inventory. But we did see a rise, and look at that. That's still pretty solid. And like I said, a lot of people's focus has been like on Folsom, Dorado Hills, Rockin' and Roseville. That's been great. But one of the things that I'd say for you guys too, if you're looking for something that, $500,000, mid-5s, Carmichael is one of those spots. The location is great. The houses are cute, ranchy houses. There's no new home building there. Maybe a boutique builder or two, but for the most part, you're not going to see the Lennars. You're not going to see the KBs or anyone there. Carmichael is so central. Look at that. You got Citrus right here. You got Fair Oaks. You got Arden-Arcade right here. And you got downtown Sacramento. That's a shot over here. Carmichael's location, honestly, is probably second to none as far as what I'm looking for. The thing with Carmichael, though, like I said, there's not a whole lot of new home building over there. And Carmichael itself doesn't necessarily put out a whole bunch of inventory. So I would say Carmichael, for me, I like it. It doesn't surprise me that it's on this list with the limited inventory that happened last year. And I think it's still going to be a big player in the Sacramento area going forward. I do definitely like Carmichael. All right, let's go to the next one. Boom. All right, Citrus, another one of my under $500,000 players. I love Citrus Heights for this. I love the idea. And if you look right here, you're going to see it's growing a little bit. And like I said, 2024 wasn't a fantastic year for appreciation or for price growth, but it's still, look at that. Look at that growth right there. That is nuts. And for a place that you can buy under $500,000, like I said, that's where, for me, if it's me and I'm coming into Sacramento, I'm saying I want to gauge the area, I want to gauge the markets. I don't know necessarily if I want to throw down into like $1 million community right away, because I just don't know the area that well. But I love an area that has this type of price growth. I like a type of area that there's a lot of demand for. internally. Not really a lot of demand. Like, you're not going to see a lot of people from the Bay Area saying like, I want Citrus, Carmichael, Fair Oaks. It's mainly for the people who live in Sacramento and have discovered those areas, grew up with those areas. That's the people that are looking at those areas. Now, for me, we show a lot of clients who come in from the Bay Area. You know, maybe they come in for a Folsom and we show them Fair Oaks and they kind of explore Fair Oaks and they fall in love with it. So this is kind of what I'm looking like. And Carmichael, for me, if you're looking at the Ranchos, if you're looking at the Carmichaels, Fair Oaks, Orangevales, this one is going to get you under $500,000. And I think, like I said, in Sacramento, for having anything under $500,000, I think that market is going to be gone fairly soon. And I think that if anyone is looking for under $500,000, they want something that, look at this location. Look at that. You want to be close to like Orangevale. You want to be close to Fair Oaks. You want to be close to what? Like Roseville. You want to be a shot towards downtown Sacramento. The location is so good for Citrus Heights. Now, Citrus Heights is an area, though, just to be completely aware, it can be farmy. It can be like really, really like, you can see these amazing kind of like secluded properties as well too. Every area in Sacramento has that. Orangevale, Citrus Heights, Carmichael, Folsom's, whatever. We always have like our little bit more of affordable housing. And then we have people that maybe back in the day bought a big piece of land and created a monster house or monster community. So that's kind of what you see. But for me, Citrus Heights, that location is just fantastic. Price point under $500,000 is great as well too. So I see that spot probably being one of the hotter markets in 2025, just because you're not going to find too much in Sacramento probably in the next couple of years that's under 500. All right, to the next. Mather, California. Mather is a spot that I don't really talk too much about on this channel. I think one of the things about Mather is no one really they see it on the freeway if they're coming up to 50. They just don't really know where it's located. It's a nice kind of pocket community. Mather just feels a little, at least for me, it was like an Air Force base that was converted kind of to a city or kind of an area. It's a nice little area. It's tucked away. Like my daughter plays soccer there now and again. But one of the things I do like about Mather is the fact that it has shown good appreciation. It's for people who maybe like the Rancho vibe, maybe someone who's looking at the new homes in Anatolia, but you don't want new homes. And you're saying to yourself, I'd love to have a community that was kind of isolated, kind of like not part of all this building, construction, everything too. Mather's a nice spot for that. It's going to feel a little further away than it is. Mather's got a great community vibe. A lot of people love the Mather area as well too for the bang for your buck. You can see it right here. It's like kind of like it has, it's close to stuff, right? It's right off the 50. Boom, as you're going to see the exit. You got Rosemont close by, La Riviera. It's kind of near that old part of Rancho, but it's also on the other side here. Hold on. Boom. It's also by that newer part of Rancho as well too. So sandwiched in between these areas, but I like it. I think it's really, really nice. I think that it's completely undervalued. I think it's completely hidden from people. And I think for a lot of people who are looking for maybe a nice house, nice community, they don't want to go over, $600,000. I think it's a great spot. And I think, like I said, I've seen houses there, some houses that have been actually under $500,000. So if you want quiet, if you want isolated, if you want a cute little community that's kind of undiscovered from a lot of people coming into the area, Mather could be a good spot for you. All right. Next on our list is Folsom. One of the biggest players in the Sacramento market is Folsom, California. A lot of people bought houses there. A lot of people bought new houses there. Now, the thing that's so funny about Folsom is that there's been so many. One is inventory has been so low in Folsom, California. The resale market is basically just like maybe 1 or 2 new houses every single week. That's it. And for our market, that's super slow. Now, where we've really seen growth in the Folsom market are all the new homes. All the new homes. I mean, you got TriPoint, you got KB, now you got Woodside, you got the new home company building their stuff out there too. You got Lennar, you had Beazer, who else? You got Toll Brothers. Everyone is building out there. So a lot of these homes also, because Folsom is so desired and so amazing that people love it, a lot of these homes don't hit the MLS. So right now they're saying Folsom 1.9, but considering everybody knows Folsom Ranch has just been blowing up and people have been buying houses left and right, I'm going to tell you something, I think that that's probably increased as well too. Because like I said, Zillow doesn't factor in all the houses that, like, if you go to a new home, you pick a house, that's the one you want. It doesn't hit the MLS, and Zillow's data is based on the MLS data. So for me, I think Folsom is a hot market. I don't think it surprises anybody. I just think the thing about Folsom in comparison to like an Elk Grove or whatnot, the resale inventory is anemic. There's just not a whole lot of resale inventory on the market. A lot of off-market deals happen in Folsom as well too. So I do think it makes this list. I think the median home price here is interesting because it used to be neck and neck with El Dorado Hills, but because a lot of the new homes in Folsom are building a little bit more like affordably, you're seeing also that the price point has kind of, a couple years ago, it dipped a little bit, as you can see right here, and then it kind of went back up a little bit. So it's interesting, right? Like you look at El Dorado Hills, where El Dorado Hills is like now in the 9s, and Folsom is kind of regaining its momentum. I would say probably because Tri-Point came up with those two communities, Canterley and Lariat, that were selling in the 6s, and they started selling in the 5s, and it kind of turned everything upside down in Folsom. Well, like I said, Folsom, what do we got going on in Folsom 2025? You got that new sports complex, UC Davis Medical Center, a campus there, Dignity Campus. All the commercial that's coming into Folsom Ranch is already sold out or rented out. You got the 2 other schools coming in before 2030. The sports complex, like I mentioned, 3 indoor hockey rinks. Folsom is going to be, and is already, a destination kind of city in the area. So for me, I think Folsom in the future, I'd say maybe even closer to 2 years, it's going to be hard to find anything under $800,000 there. I still think in the resale market, if you get something under 800, you're lucky. Folsom is definitely here to stay. And like I said, I think the home prices, they just need to balance out a little bit based on the new homes, but I think Folsom is going to go up and up and up. It's one of those spots that, based on like movement, based on development plans, based on like how many new homes sell, like you don't really get a lot of deals happening in Folsom, where like you get deals happening in like West Roseville, in Rancho, in the new home stuff. It's almost like you go in there, you might be able to get some kind of incentives, but they're not the type of incentives that you're going to get at like West Roseville or in Rancho. Folsom is definitely one of those spots that all the new home people know that it's super desirable, and you're lucky to get a house there that you love and all that stuff too. Folsom is just a hot market. So Folsom remains as one of our top 20. All right, to the next. And like I said, here's the thing about Folsom too. Look at that location. You're about maybe 25 minutes from downtown. You got the water right here. You got Costco right here. I think it is. You got the Palladio. I think it's right over here. Everything's at your fingertips. The only thing you don't have is probably the shopping as much, but that's coming in too with the new commercial that they're building at Folsom Ranch. So Folsom is definitely, does not surprise me at all making the list. Okay, so next up is Granite Bay. If you're looking for an estate home, if you're looking for the highest price point in the Sacramento area, Granite Bay is definitely it. Built in the 80s with communities like Los Lagos, Wexford, Eden Rock, Shelbourne. This is that spot where if you want like a nice, like estate style home, you want something like 5, 6, 7, 8, 14,000 square feet home. You want the guest house, you want the pool, you want the privacy, security, all that stuff too. This is where you go. Granite Bay was built that way. So if you're someone maybe moving into the Sacramento area and you're saying to yourself, yeah, I kind of want to go big, Granite Bay is where you do it. Granite Bay, you got there's certain areas that you can go over 2 million, and and that's kind of one of the things we work with our clients on our team is the fact like Granite Bay, North Serrano, Promontory. What do you got? You got Loomis, you got the Fab 40s, you got certain parts of East Sacramento, certain parts of Land Park, Sierra Oaks. There are certain parts in the Sacramento area that going over 2 million is just kind of commonplace. Los Lagos, you're not going to find anything probably under 2 million as well too. So Granite Bay is one of those spots that you're seeing some new home building there. You got Premier Homes that was building, you got New Home Company, you got Tim Lewis that's building over $2 million brand new homes out there as well too. So you got some new home building happening in Granite Bay, but for the most part, these are established private estate communities. Eddie Murphy lived out there for a while too. And like I said, if you look here, right here, look at it, boom. That's average price point. That's just crazy for me as far as Granite Bay goes, but that's what it is in Granite Bay. Now, you saw growth, though. It definitely made the list because what we've been noticing for the most part is that a lot of people who sell their 1,000 square foot condos in the Bay Area for like $3 or $4 million, they want something big. Like I said, Los Lagos, maybe 3 years ago, you could probably get something for like 1.6. Now you can't even get something under 2 mil. So it's one of those areas that's hard to get into. Inventory is very low. Now, what you also about Granite Bay, the thing that makes it kind of an interesting area as well is the fact that you're going to see the most custom homes in the Granite Bay area. So it's not like you can say, oh, I want this floor plan, I'm waiting for one to pop up. It's like, this is something that popped up in Los Lagos, take it or leave it. So Granite Bay is one of those spots, like I said, it's absolutely beautiful. If you're looking for something like an estate home, if you want one of those like horseshoe kind of driveways, if you want something gated, private, you're going to probably find it in Granite Bay. So it made the list for sure. And you really didn't have to sell too many houses to make that pop. But yeah, not surprising there as well too. And like I said, Granite Bay, It has everything you possibly want. It's also one of the things I love about Granite Bay is the fact that here you go. You got the 50 close by. You got the 80 close by. You got Folsom Lake as well too. Everything is really close by to Granite Bay. You got the malls in Roseville, but you also got the privacy, security, and estate style living out there too. So I really love that about Granite Bay, and it definitely makes the list for number 20 or in the top 20 cities and areas. No surprise. Okay, next up is Orangevale. Look at this price point, guys, right here. 39 most expensive city in the metro, and it is on the rise. Like I said, I like Orangevale. I think Orangevale is one of those spots that is kind of gives you a little bit of everything. Closer to Folsom, people love that area. You get the trees, you get the natural everything, like the water, all that stuff too. There's a part of Orangevale near Granite Bay. People like it for the schools as well too. So Orangevale kind of has it all. Like I said though, a lot of people don't know about Orangevale. They don't know about areas and communities like Woodbridge that have these monster houses, $1.5 million, just gorgeous setback, really, really nice. So Orangevale is one of those spots I think a lot of people are rediscovering. I think a lot of people, there's no real building happening in Orangevale for brand new homes. The only thing close to that is probably that Woodside community in Granite Bay that's kind of like, I don't know, a block or two from Orangevale. But other than that, Orangevale is one of those, like I said, like it's one of those areas that people kind of overlook. They come into the area, they're looking at Folsom, they realize inventory is a little anemic in Folsom, and they start asking for options. And then Orangevale, Fair Oaks, Citrus Heights, and Carmichael kind of hit the picture if you see the right house. Orangevale is one of those spots too. Like I said, like the price point is great. Mid fives, established community, nice ranch style homes. A lot of the homes have swimming pools. Orangevale is really, really nice. Again, with Orangevale, the location close to Folsom Lake, close to Folsom, close to Citrus Heights right here. You got Fair Oaks right there. You got Folsom for your shopping. Everything is really close by. Orangevale's location is great. The only hesitation I would say about Orangevale, you got to deal with Hazel, which is a brutal street. Other than that, I like Orangevale. I really love the area right over here. That part of Orangevale is my favorite. You have actually these bluffs that look over it. It's really, really nice. So Orangevale for me doesn't surprise me. It's on this list. And I think that anything close to the $500,000 price point, you're going to see home prices increase. Like I said, I think in 3 years, you're not going to probably see anything under $5. And even the things in the low $5s are going to be hard to come by. So that's kind of my thought as far as Orangevale. Nice spot if you're looking for something a little kind of like, community vibe. If you're looking for something that's like established, if you're looking for those ranch style homes, maybe something you can put a little love into, something with big backyards, probably find it in Orangevale. All right, next one on the list is Roseville. This is no surprise. Roseville, like I said, there's 3 parts of Roseville. There's East, Central, and West Roseville. West Roseville is pretty much where all the new homes are building. And then you got Central, which is nice kind of by the Fountains Galleria. And then you have East Roseville area that kind of buddies up to like Granite Bay and everything too. So all the areas are really, really nice. Roseville and Folsom, probably 2 of the top areas that people like in the Roseville, Folsom, and Elk Grove are the 3 areas people have actually heard about outside the Sacramento area, which leads to additional demand for those areas. And that's kind of why this right here does not surprise me. I think Roseville, for the most part, is still comparatively towards like Elk Grove and to Folsom, especially to Folsom. You can still get something in Roseville, near the shops, nice house, established community, underneath 650. Where in Folsom, that's going to be hard to do. So I do like Roseville. I think Roseville, especially with the addition to all that West Roseville building they're doing, it's just great. I mean, it's just nuts. So here's what you got. Johnson Ranch too, awesome community. We play them in swimming. Or play them, I guess that's called. And then all of a sudden here, you can see where the Galleria and the fountains and everything are. And here is where basically all the new home building is happening. And so that's kind of a breakdown, a little bit of Roseville. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is happening in Roseville. Roseville, honestly, for the majority of 2024 is where a majority of the new home building was happening. And so like I said, Zillow, we pulled in the data, but at the same time, a lot of the data doesn't take into account for the homes that actually went directly into contract. So just keep that in mind. In the new homes, it's interesting because I did see builders like D.R. Horton building in the 400s. Meritage for a while was selling in the 400s. Now it's almost hard to find anything in the 500s. So Roseville is definitely an up-and-comer, and it's growing, developing. And I would say the price points there are just going to go up and up and up. People really love Roseville. The only caveat I would say about Roseville is that West Roseville, Central Roseville, and East Roseville, all kind of different areas. So scope them out and see which one you like the best. But Roseville made the list. Boom. Next, we have Elk Grove, another heavy hitter. Elk Grove, It's a hard one to beat. Look at this. Look at the home prices. Elk Grove, for me, this does not surprise me because I do think Elk Grove prices have been so undervalued. I think people don't realize the popularity of Elk Grove. I think Elk Grove is a standout and always has been, but it's not been one of those spots that people like, a lot of Sacramento people want like Folsom or want Rockland. Elk Grove, the beautiful part about Elk Grove right now is the fact that the Sacramento Zoo is moving over. We're going to have a train station in Elk Grove. It's just nuts. I mean, Elk Grove is going to keep going up and up and up. I mean, look at this price point comparatively towards like Folsom. Elk Grove is going to be on fire. So I would say that it's probably going to be one of the top places for growth in home prices probably in 2025 because it just makes sense. For everything you're getting in Elk Grove, not to mention Elk Grove is the southernmost part of Sacramento, so people can shoot down to the Bay Area if they have that 1 day a week work. It's not a great drive. It's like an hour and 20, hour, 30 minutes. But comparatively towards like areas like Folsom where you tack on another 30 minutes or like, Roseville, Rockland, where you do like another 40 minutes, it's a lot more of a bearable 1 day a week drive. And people love the Elk Grove area for that. Generational people usually are moving in, mom, dad, their friends in Elk Grove. We worked with literally families of people moving into Elk Grove. So this appreciation, doesn't surprise me. And I think Elk Grove in the near future is going to be its own thing. Elk Grove's on fire right now. So as far as this goes, I would say that if there's one spot in the entire Sacramento area that just green light, Elk Grove looks like it's it. The only thing I would say though, in the 757, which tends to be one of the more popular zip codes in Elk Grove, Melrose is getting to be an issue there. With Melrose, it's hard to find any spots under $400 for a Melrose, as opposed to like a Roseville where you can still find stuff under $300, Folsom where you can still be seeing the 300s as well too. Elk Grove's Melrose are going up and up and up. So that's just something to be aware of. Also home prices. The new Taylor Morrison community, or not the current Taylor Morrison community right now, what you're noticing is their Melrose are between $350 and $400. The new one coming out, Madera Greens, the price points are going to be higher. The homes are going to be smaller and the Melrose are going to be higher as well too. So just keep that in mind. Elk Grove is definitely on the rise. All right, what do we got here? And Elk Grove, look at it, southernmost part of Sac. So you got to get to downtown Sacramento, I'd say about a 20-minute drive, not a big deal. I mean, it's also like, super on the southern part of Sacramento, the metro area. So you can just shoot to the Bay Area if you want to. Elk Grove's got so many things going for it right now. Elk Grove is going to be that spot right now where I think that it is going to be, it's already been one of the most competitive markets, real estate markets, bar none, with the home prices, with the schools and everything too, and location. But I think that 2025 is definitely going to be Elk Grove's year. We're working with a lot of clients in Elk Grove, California, trying to get them into new homes. Resale inventory, it's about the same price, and people are just loving the new homes when they go to Elk Grove. Okay, so next up is Loomis. Loomis has always been one of those spots that people absolutely love in the Sacramento area, except Granite Bay kind of takes a little bit of the shine away from Loomis. Loomis is nice. Price point isn't as high as Granite Bay. In a weird way, it was Granite Bay before Granite Bay was Granite Bay. Loomis, if you're looking for some big houses, if you're looking for some great scenery, if you're looking for a setback, everything, Loomis is kind of the spot for you. If you're someone who maybe likes Granite Bay, if you're someone who likes, you want something a little private, setback, this is kind of a spot for you. I'd definitely say check out Loomis. A lot of people are discovering Loomis because what you're noticing right now is because inventory is so light in areas like Granite Bay and Rockland, Roseville, whatever. Like people are moving to some of the areas that they might want to discover and explore. Like Loomis became one of them. Loomis has always been a hot spot for people living in the Sacramento area. But what I've been seeing in 2024 is that Loomis has been discovered by people outside of the Sacramento area because anemic inventory in Granite Bay has pushed people into Loomis. People have discovered it and home prices are going up. Loomis is absolutely gorgeous. If you're looking for a Hallmark vibe, I would say Loomis, Auburn are the spots. Loomis is right here, like I said. And it's right next to some big players, right next to Granite Bay, right next to Roseville. Right here's the Galleria where you do a lot of shopping. It's close to everything. And you can see it has a nice little greenery around it as well too. Loomis is awesome. Luxury, kind of farmy, kind of like Hallmarky vibe over there too. They got some wineries. Really, really nice spots. So Loomis doesn't surprise me. I think more people in 2025 are going to discover Loomis and just fall in love with it. A lot of people have. Okay, next one on the list is Sloughhouse. Sloughhouse is an interesting one. I kid you not, I've never moved a person into Sloughhouse before. And Sloughhouse is a little bit difficult to explain. It's kind of one of those areas that didn't exist in the 80s, right? It really didn't exist. A lot of people, like my wife was saying, oh, we'd go out there to like meet with a bunch of friends out there. It was just nothing. Now, what you notice about the Sloughhouse areas is a lot of people, a lot of communities, specifically like niche communities with $1 million houses and a lot of land, ended up building over in Sloughhouse. So it's going to be surprising because you're going to be driving down these roads and they're kind of like a little bit bumpy road, not bumpy, I would say like, kind of up and downy kind of roads. And then you're going to run into Sloughhouse out here. And what you're going to notice is you're going to see these monster houses on big pieces of land. So that's kind of what Sloughhouse is. I mean, I would say if you're someone who likes Sheldon Estates, if you're someone who likes Elk Grove, the 624, that kind of vibe, I think this is going to be perfect for you. And like I said, it sneaks up on people because people are looking at it online. We get calls from people and going like, what do you know about Sloughhouse? And I'm like, one is it's a little further away from everything, but if you're someone who likes like kind of organic veggies, you maybe want an animal, you want a horse, you want that kind of thing, but you don't want to have kind of like the ranchy old house. You want a nice luxury house on a big piece of property. Sloughhouse is a great spot. I still think it's undervalued, and I think the price point is going to go up. Like I said, like to get something what you can get in Sloughhouse for this price in the Sacramento area is just nuts. All right, next one on the list is Rosemont. Rosemont, again, like I said, we hit La Riviera before, and Rosemont does not surprise me at all too. Anything, like I said, in the Sacramento area, anything underneath $500,000, community vibe, good location, and everything, like those are the fire areas. And this is one of those spots that honestly has appreciation, and it still has got legs. It's still got room to breathe and grow here. I like the area specifically. And I've moved a lot of people in the Rosemont area. People have actually graduated Sacramento State. They wanted their first rental property. They moved into one bedroom, and all of a sudden they've done fantastic with the properties. Rosemont for me is one of those spots where if you're an investor, you don't want Melrose, you don't want HOA, you want to be close to everything. That's where you go. For your first time home buyer as well too. Great spot, community vibe and everything too. So I love the Rosemont area. And like I said, it's on the other side of La Riv. I like it. Like I said, College Glen didn't make the list, but it's still one of those areas as well too. But the Rosemont area for me, if you're looking for kind of an older ranch style home, but you're looking at an area that's seeing solid growth and appreciation, like that's a good area. And if you're looking for something under $500,000, that would definitely be one of those spots, especially if you don't want Melrose, you don't want HOAs, and you want to be about 18 minutes from downtown Sacramento. That is a solid spot. And it does not surprise me it made the list. Fair Oaks. Again, Fair Oaks goes along with like the Orangevales, the Carmichaels, and the Citrus Heights. These are areas that what you're going to notice is they've done really, really well. Primarily because, well, first, they're pretty awesome places to live. But the other thing about it is the fact that because inventory was light in Folsom, inventory was light in Dorado Hills, people needed options. So people, from outside the area discovered areas like Fair Oaks, Orangevale, Citrus, and Carmichael. And for that reason alone, and for the price point of being this, areas like Fair Oaks have just blown up. Now, we all know, living in Sacramento, how amazing Fair Oaks is a place to live. I mean, areas like, Curro Downs, areas like around Phoenix Park. I mean, they're just fantastic spots to live. But one of the things that helped the growth and the price point go up in these areas is the fact that because of low inventory, people have kind of rediscovered these areas, like the Fair Oaks, like the Orangevale, the Citrus, and the Carmichael, and they've really boosted it. These areas are so great, established neighborhoods, not a whole lot of new home building. I think the only one building new homes in Fair Oaks, no, there was actually two. KB was building there for a little bit, and Elliott Homes. But for the most part, these are established neighborhoods. Fair Oaks is nice. I love Fair Oaks. I got a bunch of friends who live there. And a lot of the communities in Fair Oaks do not have HOAs, do not have Melrose, and that's another big plus. And Fair Oaks, again, it's one of those areas that's very centric to everything. You got Folsom, you got Orangevale, Citrus, Carmichael, everything's super close by. And then, I don't know, maybe to downtown, you're about 20 minutes. And then you got your shopping in Folsom, or if you want to, you can shoot down Sunrise to get to Roseville. So everything's very centric to Fair Oaks as well too. So I do like the area. I think Fair Oaks is one of those spots if you like. And also go down to Old Fair Oaks, the old downtown area. You see chickens walking around. You go to Shangri-La for a beer. Fair Oaks is really, really a cute country kind of townish feel to it. But at the same time, you have areas like on Kenneth that are just these amazing estate homes. So Fair Oaks kind of has it all. Now, I want to bring out my dark horse prediction of 2025. It didn't make this list, but I think it's definitely one to watch. I love West Sacramento. Now, a lot of people are like, why West Sacramento? I mean, didn't even make this list, right, of the top 20. The thing is right now, towards the end of 2024, a lot of people weren't 100% sure if the A's were actually going to be coming to Sacramento. And they're coming to West Sacramento. The stadium that they're going to be playing in is West Sacramento. So for me, I think that that's going to basically put West Sacramento on the map. And I think it's going to be a really big player in 2025. It's close to downtown. It's going to have the Oakland A's playing there. You're going to get a lot of commercial traffic, everything too. So for me, my dark horse prediction of 2025 is West Sacramento. But what do you guys think? What's your prediction for 2025? What are areas that home prices are going to go up? What are your favorite areas in the Sacramento area? I want to know below. Just let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this video about the fastest growing cities and areas in the Sacramento metro for home prices. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more Sacramento real estate content. And also, guys, if you're looking to move into the area, please reach out to our team. We specialize in relocating people from point A to B. And if you are thinking about selling your house in the Sacramento area, reach out to our team. No one markets homes like we do. We look forward to talking to you guys and telling you a little bit about why Sacramento is amazing. See you next video.